Good evening. My name is Donald Hubert, and I'm going to talk to you about hitting and some of the things you need to be a good situational hitter and to just be a good hitter in general in college. So, being a good hitter takes a lot of things like strength, seeing the ball, hand-eye coordination, but then with those things comes different hitting mechanics and stuff. So with those different hitting mechanics, some people believe in different things that you don't need certain things. But the three things that I think you always need is seeing the ball, strength, and good hand-eye coordination. So first thing we're going to talk about tonight is seeing the ball. One of the biggest reasons why it's important to be able to see the ball is pitch recognition. So during pitch recognition, you need to be able to pick up pitches. So if the pitcher throws a curveball, you can see that early and then adjust to it early instead of being fooled, as we would say. So being fooled isn't really ideal because it just lets you put a bad swing on the ball and you don't hit the ball very well, or you strike out a lot. Also, when people say you got to be able to see the ball, is you got to keep your head in there. So when people are saying you ain't seeing the ball right, they're like, what do you mean? And then they could be, well, are you having trouble seeing it, or are you pulling your head? And when they say you're pulling your head, that causes other problems such as pulling off the ball with your shoulders or swinging out, just swinging really wildly. But that's why you need to be able to see the ball. The next thing you need to do is get stronger. So the reason why you need to get stronger is because if you get stronger, it helps you separate yourself from other players. So when I say separate yourself from other players, if one kid hits the ball really well and makes a lot of good contact, but he ain't as big as the other kid that hits the ball really well and makes a lot of other contact, those other college coaches are going to look at him and want to recruit him more than that other kid just because he isn't as strong. So when it comes to getting stronger, you need to focus on base. One of the things you need to focus on in a base is your legs, is a good thigh, hamstring, good thighs and hamstrings. So one of the things you can do for good thighs is squats, a lot of squats. That helps build your quads, tops of your thighs, even your hamstrings a little bit. And we do a lot of squats and deadlifts, power cleans, RDLs, goblet squats. This all helps our legs. So then the next thing you need to focus on is doing RDLs. So RDLs help with your hamstrings, and having good strong hamstrings prevents them from tearing. And so if you can prevent them from tearing, that helps because that doesn't take you out of the season, obviously. So then the next thing you need to focus on in your legs is good strong calves, because as for me personally as an outfielder, my calves are probably one of my stronger parts of my body part because they help me run, and to be a good outfielder you need to have good speed. So having strong calves helps you have good speed, and this keeps the endurance so you can go 9 innings, 18 innings a day, or just competing for a spot during practice even. So that's the main thing you need to focus on. And then the second thing you need to focus on is good core. So when it comes to core, you need to do med ball slams, Russian twists, planks, wall sits, just things like that, because that helps build your core, and and when you're hitting, that helps your explosiveness towards the ball, helps drive the ball, just things like that. The third thing you need to focus on is a good back, because as a hitter you have to have a good scap load, and having a good scap load causes you to have a rubber band effect. But if your scaps aren't very strong, you don't have that rubber band effect because it's they have to have a tightness, and if they're not very tight or toned, then they're just not as strong. So things you can do for that are back flies, shoulder presses, things like that. The fourth thing you need to focus on is good strong hands and forearms. So some of the things we do for good strong hands and forearms is hand grips, and they're just little things we carry around with us and we grip them. And then we do bar curls, hammer curls, and then we just tap the wall. We put our hands above our head and tap the wall. Or we take a hammer and we'll hold it out in front of us and just work it back and forth. And this helps with bat speed, which bat speed is a big part of hitting. This is one of the things, and this is where hand-eye coordination comes into play. Hand-eye coordination comes into play because when you're in situational hitting like hit and run, it helps you trust your hands. And when you trust your hands, that makes it better for you to, it just gives you more confidence. It doesn't make anything better, it just gives you more confidence in yourself and mentally. So the next thing in hand-eye coordination comes into play is having a good approach. You don't have to worry about your hands if you have good hand-eye coordination. as far as like all you have to worry about is hitting the ball. So with good hand-eye coordination comes the two-strike approach, and if you have good hand-eye coordination for two strikes, then you're basically set as a baseball hitter. And if you have being able to see the ball, good strength, and have good hand-eye coordination, you're set. Thank you.